Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy CL Cool.
And your boy TEWZ.
And this podcast is called I Still Love Pro Wrestling. ... I think.
Don't forget the 3 dots.
Yes, sir. My boy already said somebody did another podcast with. Anyway, this one is we're just gonna, this is not a let's talk about. This is, we wanted to talk about what happened last night after All Out at the post media scrum, and your boy Punk was on one. If you're a wrestling fan, which I'm pretty sure you are, because you're listening to this, you know what happened last night after AEW went off the air and they did the little post media thing. Punk went in.
Punk pretty much like what'd he say? The Bucks can't book.
Pretty much he was like, you know what I'm saying? He was, because at first he talked about the Coca Bennett thing. So remember, the rumors were that the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Adam Heyman Page were mad at CM Punk because they felt like when Punk got hired at AEW, he sent Colt Cabana to Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the elite, I'm just calling them the elite because they are the elite. That's what the elite was mad about. Like they felt that when Punk got hired on the AEW, so remember Colt Cabana was on AEW, and then he wasn't being used, and then he got shipped over to Ring of Honor, and the elite felt like, okay, this is CM Punk using his power.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To get Colt Cabana over there to Ring of Honor. And pretty much Punk, addressed that. And he was like, he called out Heyman Page because that was the reason Heyman Page went into business for himself.
Yeah.
Because he was taking up a Colt Cabana, and CM Punk was like, I don't know why he would do that on a big money match that's on the back of, that's on my back. The $1 million gate that's on my back. I don't know why he would do that all over Colt Cabana. So Punk was kind of disgusted. Like, I can't believe y'all acting like school children over Colt Cabana. And so that was the first part. And he was like, it's 2022. This is embarrassing. I don't care what he does. Talking about Colt Cabana, I don't care what he worked. I had nothing to do with that. But these little EVPs, he said the EVPs, they can't even manage the target.
That's what he said. That's right.
Spreading lies and stuff about me. And that's when he went in. Like the little EVP can't manage the target. They should have known better. Spreading lies. And I'm sorry, I'm on Punk with this one. Like, I know he can be like troublesome, but I'm with Punk on this one. You're supposed to be EVP, so when you're an executive vice president, whatever that means in AEW, you're not supposed to act like that towards your number one draw. Like, I know Kenny Omega and the Bucks think they're the number one draw in AEW. You're not. I'm sorry, you're just not the number one draw in AEW.
Hence why they're the trio champions right now.
You're not the number one draw. The number one draw in that company, mainstream, let's not get it confused, is Punk. And if you want to put somebody up there that's probably with Punk, you could say Moxley or Bryan Danielson. Maybe. But if you had to go top 3 of like, okay, who would everybody know? You can go to anybody and say, man, you used to watch wrestling. Do you know who CM Punk is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who Daniel Bryan is?
Yeah.
Do you know who Dean Ambrose is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before he lost, a lot of his
momentum.
My man.
And Jericho. Actually, to tell you the truth, Jericho could be number 2.
Because it's people who watched wrestling back in the early 90s that still know Jericho. I had an ex of mine, I remember I had on AEW, and she was like, wait, is that the Chris Jericho? He used to be in WCW?
Yeah.
Like, and she hadn't watched wrestling in years, but she recognized Chris Jericho.
That's right.
So, it's
like, you're not, when you talk about, now, if you want to go to Japan, yes, maybe you're the top star in Japan. But
worldwide.
But the fans in Japan, Because how many times does AEW tour in Japan?
I don't think they've ever been.
Exactly. That's my point.
They've never been there.
That's my point.
They don't.
Where do they tour? U.S.
U.S. only.
I'm pretty sure when it comes to U.S. crowd, mainstream, like you're not even in the top 5 as far as reach. No. You're just not. And the bus is farther down because everybody probably know who FTR is as a Revival before they know who the Young Bucks are.
Yeah.
Well, just keep it real.
The mainstream appeal, and it's kind of like, and I mean that's in any industry though. It's like when you see a logo that it's known in one country, but it's not known in another. But then you'll see like the Coca-Cola sign or the Pepsi sign. There's not many people in the world that's not gonna know those two symbols or the McDonald's logo.
Exactly.
It's like if you look at it like that, because they're everywhere. They're pushed everywhere. Every part, every continent, every country, they're pushed. So when you see a CM Punk or a Daniel Bryan or somebody like that who has been in World Wrestling Entertainment, that is still, despite the falling ratings and all that, it's still the number one company in the world. That name alone carries its own weight. So you can't, once you've been there, whether you at the top of the card or the bottom of the card, you still a star compared to the level of AEW right now, because AEW is still rising in notoriety.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry. So, and Punk, in that statement yesterday, like he was so disgusted at Adam Hangman Page, like he said, you have done none of this business. What made you think you can come out and shoot on me, and you have done nothing in this business? Like, sorry, I told y'all privately that I thought Hangman Page was the worst champion ever booked. Like he has no business. If it's Jericho shooting on Punk, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But Adam Hangman Page, bro, come on, man. I don't care. And I know people like, with Punk, he's a problem. He's a problem, maybe. But I think he's right about this. As EVPs, you should not be having that stance and letting Adam Hangman Page do that promo like that.
Yeah.
Against your number one star over Colt Cabana.
Yeah, because okay. Let me just be honest. I'm sure behind closed doors, Colt Cabana, I've heard nothing but good stuff about him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. You heard some stuff?
I've heard different.
He might be, on the other side of the coin.
If you listen to that post-match, if you listen to CM Punk, he talked to this certain reporter, and he talks about this reporter, and he was like, how you doing? He's like, used to have a podcast. He like, you used to have like a podcast or something. And the reporter was like, yeah. And then CM Punk like, well, who did you have that podcast with? And they said Scott Colton, which that is Colt Cabana. And CM Punk like, how are you and him? Do y'all talk? And the reporter like, no, me and him don't see eye to eye on things. And that's when CM Punk was like, they make both of us. And then he goes into why, like, he was like, well, me and Colt Cabana, I tried to bring him to the top with me. He didn't want to see me at the top. And I used to pay all his bills and stuff, and he tried to sue me. And then, so that's when it started, and then that's when he got into the Young Bucks, because, like, he's right. Y'all beefing with me and having this peon as a champion go on live TV and do a shoot on me over Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Colt Cabana is nothing to be fighting over.
Hey,
like,
dude, come on.
I hate to say it, man. Colt Cabana Boom Boom was not drawing
nobody cares
anything in AEW. That's why they sent them to the Dark Order to just kind of blend in and fall in the background, because there was nothing, to me anyway, there was no way you could book Colt Cabana in AEW and make him feel like a legitimate champion or contender. I mean, the character to me is on Santino Marella status. If you ask me, it's a comedy character. It's not, I don't take it seriously. And like he said, to fall out over that level of talent is crazy. Because Paige, I remember when Paige was booked, they were saying Paige was going to be the next rogue superstar. And everybody want to use Stone Cold as the measuring stick. Everybody wants, he gonna be the the ruthless cowboy, the cowboy-ish.
The worst cowboy ever seen in my life. Drunk.
The drunken cowboy
that became like, it was so stupid. And then like
the matches were a little lackluster. There wasn't really much oomph to his promos.
Man, that was the worst champion I've ever seen booked. And we seen some horrible book champions.
Has anybody seen Diesel in 1995?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Matter of fact, I love my boy Kofi, but they did Kofi wrong when he won the belt.
I'm not thinking up from the top of my head, but it's been way worse book champion.
Rey Mysterio, when he was getting tossed around by Brock Lesnar and Big Show. This is your heavyweight champion getting destroyed by Batista. Man, look. It's been some bad book champions, but Paige, nothing about Paige's reign.
He was up there with David Arquette.
Oh,
I swear. Like, and I know it sounds disrespectful, but he wasn't believable to me as a champion. Like, they booked him horrible. Yeah. And then you get this opportunity, and you're about to work with CM Punk. You about to work with CM Punk, like CM Punk said. Like, how dare you go shoot a promo? We about to do $1 million house off my back, not your back.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about you, bro.
Yeah.
We're doing it off my back. So how dare you? Y'all haven't drew nothing. And then all the stuff in Japan, and I keep trying to tell these people, when Kenny Omega and them drew in Japan, because I used to read up on it, they didn't draw because Kenny Omega versus Okada or Kenny Omega. You know what I'm saying? They drew them houses just like Jay White is, just like everybody else is, because New Japan Pro Wrestling, number one, it's kind of like the WWE fan base in a way over there. So, like, New Japan kind of done the same thing, whereas our brand name is the biggest star. So when WWE, so you remember, like, back in whether the 80s with Hogan, it's Hogan in the WWF. In the 90s, in the early 90s, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels in the WWF, and then doing the Attitude Era, Stone Cold and The Rock in the WWF.
Yeah,
those dudes was the star. But by the time of the late 2000s, they made the WWE brand the star. So it's not Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch and the WWF is coming to town. It's the WWE is coming to Europe. You know what I'm saying? Because back in the day, it was like, The Rock and Stone Cold is coming. You
had those draws.
Now it's the brand, and the New Japan is the same way.
Yeah,
those fans over there come because New Japan Pro Wrestling has a certain style that they've been loving for years and decades. So Kenny Omega didn't draw a house. See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So and they sure haven't drawn a house here. Their biggest pay-per-view was the Adam Hangman versus CM Punk. The biggest pay-per-view they ever did.
Yeah. And to be real with you, the only reason a lot of people even knew, a lot of the modern fans, now I'm not going to downplay anybody that stays up on the indies in Japan and, all across the globe, all the other organizations, but I knew a lot of people who didn't know what New Japan was until they heard of the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and people like that going over there. And some didn't even know then until Jericho went over there.
Exactly.
So it's just kind of like, Chris Jericho over there? Now, even they knew the star power of Jericho to feature him on their broadcast. And like he said, their brand is the star. But they still knew that this is a global star.
Now, did Kenny Omega go build himself over there? Yeah. I won't take that in the Bucks. I won't take that away from them.
No.
But they're good in Japan. Haven't drawn anything here in the U.S. Now, did they have the All Out pay-per-view? Yes. But that came from crowdfunding. And people might crap on me because of this statement I'm about to make, but All Out, I'm pretty sure like Jericho had a big deal to do with that, and Cody Rhodes, among others. And I say Kenny Omega and them did, yeah. But since AEW been up, they haven't really done anything. Like, the show, like, I love wrestling, and I'm not about to say I love AEW because I watch it, but to me, they still got work to do. This CM Punk situation is kind of making me intrigued to see what they do next.
Yeah.
And, there was a physical altercation. The Young Bucks approached CM Punk.
I heard about this. I heard about this.
It's rumors, but I will let it see
it. To be honest, man, I've always kind of felt this way about EVPs being active roster members. It's a conflict of interest.
It doesn't work.
It just doesn't. It doesn't seem to me. It doesn't seem fair, because if I was another talent and my EVPs are the first trios champions, let's use that as an example. The first trios champions are the EVPs of the company. Let that sink in for a second. Like it's. I don't know. Like
you bring your friends in, and then you have your EVPs beefing with your star. They don't need to be EVPs. That's why CM Punk said they haven't ran anything. They don't know how to run a local Target center. And you got these guys, man, like, it's just ridiculous. And Tony Khan is ridiculous for doing it. And he just sitting there just like letting Punk say what he want to say, and he just sitting there.
And this is why, people talk down on WWE the way that it was. But the one thing we can say that they've always done is they know how to rein people in. It's like, if you got out of line like that, yeah, trust me, you paid for it. You couldn't talk crazy on a live mic like that and get away with it.
And AEW better be careful, because WWE, like, to me, the tide has turned. You remember when AEW first started?
Oh man, everybody was
AEW must be the place to go. Word, the boss is good, the locker room is great, blah blah blah. But that turned around
real quick.
Triple H is the guy now that everybody want to go work for.
Yep.
And AEW better be careful.
Yeah, because people talking about leaving. Rumor has it, Aleister Black blew a kiss to a fan on his way out last night, symbolizing, because he lost, and symbolizing that he was on his way out.
When are you gonna join Judgment? Anyway,
that could be a thing. I mean, it's to the point to where what looked like was the grass being greener on the other side, it's no longer fresh grass, in my opinion. It's being exposed for what it really is. And again, I'm not taking anything away from AEW, because I watch it and I like a lot of the people that are there, and I know why a lot of them ran there, because at the time, I mean, where they were at, some of them, WWE at the time, it was an interesting environment, and it didn't always favor certain superstars, so they got out of there. I get it, but it's like now, if you look around at AEW and then the size of the roster included, it's like it really truly ain't too much better unless you own Dark and Elevation and getting your wins up, because there's so many people on this show, and you're going to see the EVPs every week. They are not going to take a week off unless they hurt. They're going to be there every week. So, they're going to get their slot.
Yeah.
And you're going to see the Orange Cassidy's, which is another one of their boys. You're going to see him every week. And, it's certain people you're going to see every week, and then everybody else just kind of find their place. It's like, is the grass really greener? Or does it just feel that way because it's different?